All right, how are you doing today? It's Robert with Pioneer Smokehouses, and we are out here on this wonderful liquid sunshine kind of day, and we're gonna do some skinless chicken thighs in my Masterbuilt 1320. It's a 40-inch charcoal smoker. There's a longer name for it, and you'll see it in the description with the link below. Also in the link below, you'll see the written review for this unit. I've been using this for a little while and I have not shot any videos. I just did the assembly and the introduction video. But now I'm to the point to where I'm confident enough that we can run a few videos. I've run through it a few times, done a couple of dishes like some pork roast and an excellent chuck roast that turned out so similar in taste and consistency to brisket that I might just continue to do those instead of briskets, because I feel like the brisket is so large and takes so long that these chuck roasts would actually be a better fit for me and my family, and the taste is there. So anyway, let's get on to the important part here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this out and I'm going to show it to you. And I have some pictures here. So this is the charcoal basket or charcoal tray, and then the basket in here. This runs real similar to like you would use like a burner basket and a stick burner, where you would just insert it in the offset burning section. And it actually works really well on that concept. As I've been using it for a while, it has twisted just a little bit, but there is some bars in the bottom here that raise it up so that way it can sit here and function. This here is a divider. It does a couple of different things. I think it helps the charcoal burn around in a nice loop, but it also provides a place to put wood chips in. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if I've got anything that I can put in there, and it looks like I do right here. So there is some chips and chunks in here. This is a bag of apple chunks, but most of the larger pieces are gone. So I'm just gonna go ahead and fill some of that in here just to get a little bit to burn. And I put a couple of pieces in and there wasn't anything left, so I don't know what the overall effect was, but I do know that it worked out. So, and I'm trying to put the smaller pieces in and save the bigger pieces. So anyway, so we've got that in there, and there's just a handful of them in there. And then we're going to get out the bagged charcoal. This whole thing without the divider takes 16 pounds of charcoal to fill it completely, but that's not exactly what we want to do. With the chicken, we're not going to run it for the full time period, so I just want to put what I really need in there. I like to use this this Kingsford pecan infused briquettes, and then I also have a bag of mesquite here. I start with whatever flavor I want, and the reason that I do that is because I feel like that the meat takes on most of its smoky flavor at the beginning of the cooking process, and once it gets to a certain point, it really doesn't take on a lot more flavors. So this bag is an 8-pound bag. I'm gonna get her all laid out in there. I dropped a couple of the pieces in the center, but that'll work out great because I need a couple pieces, so I'll just pick those up. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move these pieces away from the starting area. And then I'm gonna turn some sideways like this, so that way, as the fire is starting, it will have a chance to flow through the briquettes. And the principal idea here is then, as the blower goes, it can blow the fire across the areas and provide a little gap for burning. So I've done that, and then I will put some more going sideways like this. And now I'm going to pick these ones up over here and drop them on this side over here. So let me take a picture really quick. Okay, so if you see that picture there, you can see that across the bottom here that the charcoal runs across and then comes up like a little hook. And that's just basically how it's going to burn. Now, there's a couple of different ways to start this. And the best way is with charcoal lighter or a tumbleweed. Today I have some charcoal lighters. I did use some tumbleweeds before, but we'll go ahead and use these today. And so it says to use 2. I'm going to put them in here and separate them just a little bit. I found the tumbleweeds actually work really well, but these things I use to light the Masterbuilt Gravity series, and they stick in there really good and they work really well. So I'm just going to use our little brûlée torch. And it's already set. It's just a push button start. The other one is a trigger start. You have to hold the button down on this one. I want to get it going here. It looks like I'm a little low on butane, so I'll have to find my butane container and refill this. But we've got it going there, and I don't know if you can see it. I'm not going to take a picture of it this time. But I will throw up a picture from a previous shot of me using the same thing to light it down in here. So I'm going to take this and I'm just going to insert it in here. Now you can light it down here. You don't have to light it up there. Okay, there is a little track there and you have to get it right in the spot. Now what we need to do is we need to let it burn for 3 minutes. And I want to make sure that some of the charcoal gets into the fire there. So I just stacked a couple pieces on there. And so the charcoal is in there and it is going. Now, if you can stack a little bit more on, that's probably a good idea. And so I'm going to grab one more piece from over here and I'm going to put it over there. There we go. So now I've got a little layer of charcoal covering across the top. And you can see we're starting to get some smoke. I'm going to even out the basket just a little bit. So nice and square in there. Now you're supposed to let it run for 3 minutes. And the reason that we do that is so that way we can get it burning good and to get some of that charcoal to light. What happens is that when we turn this on, if it doesn't come up to temperature fast enough, the safety will turn it off and then we'll have to start again. That's fine. That's not that big of a deal. When you read the manual, you can follow their exact procedures, which is great. But you're going to want to allow a little bit more time than what they say in the manual. I think they're a little short there. Unless, also what you can do is add more to it. Now we're getting a good burn going here. These fire starters are really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and push this, and we're on. And then I'm going to set that, and we're going to set it at 225 because I want to keep the temperature pretty low. And it does do a lot of thermal runaway with this unit. And so I'll cover thermal runaway really fast since I set it. Sometimes when you start your fire, you get everything going, and this happens on manual offset smokers too, stick burners, is that you get it going and you think it looks great, and then it just keeps getting warmer and warmer and warmer. That's why when I'm doing a stick burner, I like to add just little chunks of charcoal or wood at a time. And if I could light it on the side on one of my little grills, I will use like this to start all my charcoal, and then I'll just scoop it in with a little garden shovel, or a clamming shovel works really well too because they're usually not sharp. Now, when we're looking inside the glass, I can see the fire in the edge of the tray because the tray down below there sits just in the perfect spot. Something I'm going to do only because I just want to be careful is that I'm going to take this bag off of the top of the smoker. I haven't had any problem with temperature or heat or anything, but it was pretty warm coming out of the back in the vent. So let's just go ahead and move that really quick. Because it's so wet out here, I'm trying not to leave any of my charcoal out here, and I'm a little more careful with the lighters and stuff. But most part, I just make sure everything is sealed up real well. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to wait for those lighters to burn off completely. We don't want any of that in our food, and so we're gonna just let that burn and watch the temperature go up. And I don't think you can see the temperature gauge right now, but we have 57 degrees. So we've got a ways to go here before it's cooking temperature. So we're gonna take a break. I'm gonna go in the kitchen and I'm gonna get the stuff and bring it out here. And then hopefully this will be at temperature and we'll be ready to cook. So I'll see you in a second, but for me, it'll be about 15 minutes. All right, so we're moving right along. We're not quite ready on the smoker yet, but I want to show you something. So this is the picture right here of what it looks like when it airs. So what happened was it only had gotten up to 165 degrees in the reasonable amount of time, and so the machine shut itself down thinking that there was a problem. All you have to do is just press the temperature button and it'll start over again. So I just tapped the temperature button, waited for a second, it reset to the minimum temperature at 225, and it was on the road again. So we're at about 201 right now, and it's still rising. So the fan is blowing, I can hear it going. As soon as it gets to 225, the fan will slow down and almost shut off completely. Now, the one thing I did do, and I don't know if you can see this, is I added a sheet of tin foil in here. Every time I cook, I'll open this up real quick, I put in a piece of tin foil every time or every other time, depending on what I'm cooking. If I'm cooking something like fish, I like to switch it every time. If I'm cooking something like beef, I usually can go 3 or 4 cooks without even needing to worry about it. But pork is kind of in the middle because it's really greasy. So what I've done here is I've taken a cookie sheet and I've set my grill mat right on it. So I'm gonna take the back of this cookie sheet and I'm gonna just transfer the food right into the grill, just like always. These grill mats are a godsend. Pick some up. There is a link down below. It is my affiliate link, so if you use it, I'll get paid. But this is important. Don't use my link. Look it up, find what you want. This one here was the extra large, and I cut it to the exact size I wanted, which fits in the Big Chief smoker. And that's usually the size I cut them to, and because they work well on all the other smokers. They just could be a little larger for this one. So what I did here is, this is a unique take on this recipe, is that I put a half a cup of orange juice and a half a cup of mustard in here. This is gonna be my binder, and you're gonna taste the mustard, but you know, if you're okay with that, that's fine. Now I brought the brush out, and the brush will probably just be for touch-up when I load it, but I'm gonna use it to mix. And you see my gloves. I always use gloves. I should have used them when I was loading the charcoal just because I like to keep the charcoal off my hands, but that's not important. We like to be able to get rid of any meat contamination easily without having to wash up or anything. And that's the great thing about gloves, is you just pull it off and turn it inside out as you go, and then you throw it away when you get a chance. So this is mixed up. So we've got orange juice, mustard. Orange is a good pairing for chicken, but if I were doing pork ribs or something like that, I would use apple juice. Even cider, if I had it. I like the cider better. It's a little bit stronger for me. Not cinnamon flavored cider though. So what I have here is a tray of chicken thighs that I bought from the store. And these ones are boneless, so that's gonna make great for smoke penetration. So I'm just gonna go ahead and toss them in here, and then I'll be able to stir them around and take them out. So it looks like I won't be able to do them all in one batch. So here's what I'll do, is I'll go ahead and put that amount in there and stir it up. I just want them completely coated. I don't want them soaked. And mustard is just an excellent binder. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take them out one at a time, and I'm gonna lay them down on the grill mat, upside down. The reason I'm taking them out one at a time is because I want to make sure that I got my binder on the bottom too. Sometimes they don't open up when you're stirring them around, and then you just have to dip them right back in, just like that. Let them drip for a second, and boom. And we're not worried about getting the mustard that thick. What we're worried about is making a nice a medium to convey all this stuff across. So we're going to get this last one out here, and then I'm going to take and add the rest of these chicken in here. And as I do, I'm going to try to remember to open them up. When I say open them up, I just mean I'm just going to take them apart like that and then set them in here. And that's all of them right there. So now I'm just going to give them a little stir here. So you need to remember that I've just cross-contaminated the brush. So this brush needs to be washed. So I'm just going to get this all in there, make sure we've got all this stuff all spread out real well. Okay, and then I will take this and see, because I opened it up, it got in there really good. So just laying it out. And so that's 10 boneless chicken thighs, and that covers this whole grill mat. This is a premix of my seasoning mix, and it's 3 parts pepper, 2 parts garlic, and 1 part salt, and then a little bit of smoked paprika. Close to 1 part. So when I mix it up, I usually make a lot of it, and then I throw it in a leftover shaker bottle, and then I can reuse it. Notice I'm trying not to touch anything with this hand. So now I'm going to sprinkle it across the bottom here. I don't want to sprinkle it too heavy. And by all means, use what flavors you like. If I were adjusting this for chicken, I would probably add a little bit of onion powder to it also. I definitely wouldn't add any more salt. And the salt in this is kosher salt, so it does transfer well. So now I've done the bottom. And I don't know if you can see that, but I'm not gonna take a picture since my gloves are all coated. Now I'm just gonna flip them over. And again, the mustard and orange juice is just for the binder. You'll get a little bit of flavor from each, and it'll be a unique flavor. But it's not gonna dominate. What's really gonna dominate is the smoke. Now, I'm looking at this tray and I'm like, well, there's a couple of spots where some of the mustard came off. So I'm just gonna come across with my brush and I'm gonna brush them up a little bit before I sprinkle. So there's a little bit left in the bottom of the container. Also, I want to point out that this is great for ribs, but if you don't like mustard, you can use something else. You don't have to, you don't have to go that direction. So now, I've got that out there, and I'm just going to try not to get too close to the meat so it gets a little bit of a spread as I shake it. And I don't use any premixes that have salt in it for my pork products. I think that salt is pretty porky. Excuse me, pork is pretty salty. That was good, wasn't it? So I try not to do that. Now, our smoker is at temperature, and what I was talking about the thermal runaway, we went clear up to 240 now. And I don't hear the fan on at all. So it is above my set temperature. And when you're cooking, you want to allow for that with this model. And with most models, you want to keep in mind that it will go above your preset. But we're going to go ahead and open this up now. And then this is my favorite thing. When I opened it up, a puff of smoke came out, so that was great. So now I'm going to scoot the tray over the grill mat to the edge of the cookie sheet. So it's just hanging off the edge just a little bit. Then I'm going to take this and put it on the grate and slide the food in. I'm using both of my thumbs and just pushing it in slowly. But it's just sitting there, and now it's over top of the foil, So any excess mustard is dripping off, and you can see the back of the pan is covered with mustard. So I'm going to close this up and get it going, because when it's open, the safety is off. So I got a little bit of mustard on me here and a little bit there. So I'm gonna, oh, there you go. Look, I'm rinsing it off in the nice liquid sunshine. Yay, yay, liquid sunshine. Okay, I don't mind the rain, but it's pretty brutal out here today. So anyway, we're gonna let that roll, and I'm not even gonna touch this for an hour. I'm not even gonna look at it. So if there's something to see in an hour, we'll be right back and you can see it. All right, so we're just gonna pop in here and take a quick look. I did check it about 30 minutes ago to make sure that everything was going good, and the thermal runaway didn't get quite as bad. I think that when you stay closer to 225, I think that it shuts off a little bit faster. When you're up at the 275, it bumps right up at 300 before it gets the temperature under control. So keep that in mind when you're cooking. Maybe set it about 25 degrees under what your target is, and then slowly bump it up after that. And again, I'm still learning all these different aspects of this smoker. The electric smokers are much more dialed in than that. You can pretty much set them to whatever you want them to do. But we're gonna pop this open and take a look here. I did open it a second ago, but let's see if you can see the smoke come out, and look at that smoke puff right out there. When they open it, the safety goes off, and then you can see here that the chicken's still a little bit yellow in there, which we expect because of all the mustard, but a lot of the excess liquid has dropped off onto the tray, which is gonna be perfect for cleanup. I'm gonna go ahead and shut this really quick. And the reason I'm doing that is so that way the safety will go back off and it'll run again. Now I'm gonna go ahead and open this up, and when I do this, I'm gonna get my phone ready because I wanna take a picture at the same time, and I don't wanna have it open too long. There is a gasket on here, but you can see that just a little bit of smoke is leaking around the side, and I don't think it's that big of a deal, but you can see how much smoke is coming out there. And I'm gonna back up just a little bit. And now, check that picture up there. And I'm gonna get this closed again because I don't wanna have it open too long. But the temperature's showing 116 down here. And if you look at that picture, you can see that 116, you can see the fire basket, you can see that the charcoal is burning across this way. And so there's a big patch of it right in here that hasn't even started burning yet. So I only put the one bag in there. That's 8 pounds. And we have half of it lit, but not burned through. So we're on about an hour and at a pretty low temperature. So we probably have 3 to 4 hours worth of fuel left in there. Again, you can pack that thing up really tight if you want and fill it up with 16 pounds of briquettes. But also what you could do is throw some lumps in there. You probably don't want to put the lumps to where they're touching each other, because just like with wood chips and stuff, if you put them next to each other, then they'll continue to burn through, almost like a wick. So if you separate them up a little bit, one will burn, and then when the charcoal gets to the next one, it'll burn, causing it not to have a big fire or a big flame up. So anyway, we'll come back to this in an hour. Everything looks good, and I expect that at this temperature, we'll be done in 2 hours total. So we'll see you then. All right, so here we go. So I thought it'd be a really good time to push this chicken along, and I knew that it was really close on temperature. We're starting to get dark out, and so I thought we better get this off of here. So it should be really close. The temperature's running at 224. I'm gonna open the bottom here and take a look at the charcoal real quick. And it's just gotten to the corner of the basket, so we still have plenty of time left if we wanted to keep going. But since, like I said, since it's getting dark here, and I'm pretty sure that this small meat's gonna be ready to go. So got my instant read thermometer here, and there is a probe for this. I'm just an instant read thermometer kind of guy. So this one right up in the front here is pretty thick, and I kind of did that on purpose. And we're just a little short on temperature, but I can easily take that in the house and finish it up. So we're only at about 145 and we need to be a little bit higher here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull that off, and the edges are definitely cooked, so that way we can give it a try. So you can see there, I'm able to just pull this loose and get it right up here into the cookie sheet without any headaches, just like that. I'm gonna go ahead and set this up here. And then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go down here and I'm gonna turn this temperature all the way up to 400, which is your max setting on this unit. And the idea is to get this thing to really kick up and go pretty good. So I'm gonna grab a little piece off the edge here. Yeah, and let's come a little closer here and see if you can see that. So it is done on the edges. That's good. So it has that nice charcoal smoked flavor. It doesn't have the grilled consistency though. It's definitely more of the smoke consistency. So it's a little bit, I won't say it's rubbery, but it has that like, I don't know, it's kind of like a different, you know, consistency along the edges. So anyway, I'll go ahead and here's some pictures of what it looks like when it's done. And that's gonna, I'm gonna have that for dinner tonight. Half of it anyway. We're not gonna eat all that. We have a small family. But so down below is the basics. There'll be a link to a basic recipe for you. And this is the orange chicken, smoked orange chicken in the Masterbuilt 40-inch charcoal smoker, digital controls. Of course, we do have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth with this, but I prefer not to use those things if I can avoid it. If you're sitting in the house and you want to be able to watch everything, you put your probe in and you can kind of keep a good eye on it, that's great, you can do that. But again, one less thing to go wrong as far as I'm concerned. And if you want to buy a good wireless thermometer, I think that that's a better tool to use on a regular basis. So thanks for watching, and you have a great day. All the links are below, including my affiliate links to products I used in this video, including my favorite little cheap instant read thermometer. Have a great day.